Hello YouTube, I'm Elwirfy, and today we're going to be taking a look at an interesting kind of strategy that I've been thinking about for use for my death company, because I've been having a lot of trouble, with trying to figure out what the best way is to utilize these guys, because I've been reading about it on forums and stuff, and it turns out the death company aren't as strong as I thought. Not that they're bad. They're not bad or anything. They feel no pain. They're pretty darn good. The problem with the Death Company is that they have trouble getting into the fight. Once they're in the fight, they kick ass, and they really do, honestly. Like in that first battle report, we actually, when they got into combat, they were killing it. They were actually doing really well. But the problem is we lost like half of them before they even got into battle. So I wondered, well, how the heck do we solve this? How do we fix it? Well, the simplest answer is to just make a wall and that will block them. Now, will this protect them from artillery? No, but look at how much more spread out they are. Then scatter, there's enough room in here, or I would make sure there's enough room in here, that a big template scatter could land, if it landed in the center, would miss everything, And I think, that's why you'll notice I actually don't have any enemies set up over there, because I feel like it doesn't matter what they have. It doesn't matter. Because it's not going to change the strategy we're going to imply for this example. So what are we actually bringing? Well, because of the requirements of this, we would be bringing our Death Company Chaplain as our HQ choice, and then we would be bringing our three. We'd be bringing our three troop choices. Not troop choices. They're not troops. They're not. Our three light troops, or elites, I guess. Fast attack, whatever you want to call them, of the Death Company. We bring all of them. We want all of them. We need the bullets, we need the melee, we need the dice. We need the dice. Now, in order to qualify for the dude's special bonus, technically, we have to bring in the Death Company Dreadnought. But, points-wise, I feel like, efficiency-wise, because I was thinking about that ability he had, and yes, we did wipe them out relatively well with that ability, but because half of them died, like, the ability that he possesses pretty much lets you get double attack. But it's like, it doesn't matter because it only works for the guys who are within 2 inches of range of melee, and it's really tough to do when you're fighting against elite armies. So, I'm not worried about that ability as much anymore. But, I thought about it like this. I could have my two Vindicators, or Ball Predators, depending on what I have. These could just be here as a placeholder, but the Vindicators could be here, taking up the damage. They'd be targeting them. Because look at this. Who wouldn't shoot at that? That's two tanks right next to each other. Smack dab. Fire in the middle. Kill them. Fine. The point of this is it gets my guys into the front. It gets them, to where they need to go. So see, over here we could have, a Rhino pull up. And we'll just use these guys. And they just unload. They unload, first turn. Or second turn. Whenever they get to deploy. On the first move. They just come out, doing their marine thing, like normal. Nothing wrong with that. We could do something like that. And then it leaves these guys the freedom. They could even break off if they wanted. We could say that everyone is in combat squads. Or they're more effective together. I want to keep them together if possible. But, depending on how many enemies there are, I might choose, hey, maybe that isn't such a good thing. And then over here, of course, we're going to do the same thing. We would have a Marine squad that kind of piles out, knowing they're going to die. Like, I deploy these guys knowing, they're my troop choices. They're really here for objectives. If there was an objective, I would just not have them on the table. I would hold these rhinos back, and I would split up my Vindicators to cover more ground and have the middle group just open. Because I like that formation look. It just looks nice. Makes me feel happy when I play the game. So, you deploy the two Marine squads, whatever. Keep in mind, then these guys would come up. This is a more points-heavy game. If we had less points, what I'd probably do is just drop Death Company squads. And just only run one Death Company squad. Not worry about the bonus for the faction. Just play them like, for the normal 200 that it's going to cost per squad, plus the 3 points per jetpack, so it's like 30. So 230 points for a single squad. And then to get those tanks. But see, something like this feels much more commanding than if, like the battle we had before, that first time where we didn't have these. Right? And we didn't have these. And instead, we simply brought this and another guy, a group of Marines. Now this is all my infantry on the table. Besides the Terminators, this is my entire infantry force. It's a lot. It's 67 units of, well, it's 60, okay. So it's 60, like, troop models, which is a lot for Space Marines. Space Marines don't actually normally run this many Space Marines. But the thing is, they're still just infantry. These guys are just as safe as those guys up there. The only difference is these guys are getting close combat, but somehow these guys have ended up in the front lines. But that's okay for me, because they're going to get targeted first. If they're not targeted first, then they just get to rapid fire their bolters. That was my original thought, but I learned my lesson. You shouldn't walk Marines. You shouldn't. That's why I like taking the rhinos that can move 12, loading them with those guys, driving them forward at the same speed as these guys, which is great. That's how you should do it. And we don't need this guy. Unless, my friend tells me, hey, going to be running something with the big monster. I'd be like, you know what? If it's going to be a smaller game with infantry, I'd rather cut that out. And if so, bring Vindicators. I like the idea of bringing a Vindicator. Or maybe just one. You don't even need to bring two. Just one. Because it doesn't... Look. Compared to, that, wouldn't you rather have something like this on the table? Something like that gives a big presence on the battlefield. Where you're like, yes, I have a tank. That tank is going to do amazing. This guy, yeah, but he's slow. This guy moves 12 inches. This guy moves 6. This guy moves 6 no matter what. That's why I had to drop pod him in for that second game. Because I'd learned, he's not good at walking across the table. That's not what I want. So anyway, that's my idea for this thing. This is a little more on the development side. We're still working on it. Still thinking about how to make it work. But this is my ideas for how it should go. And hopefully you guys all enjoy. So anyway, guys, I'm Elwirfy, and I'll see you guys next time.